Mensa, all is not well with our West African neighbor Liberia. The country was due for a rerun of their presidential election next Tuesday. But the Liberty Party's Charles Bromskin, who came third in the first round, has challenged the result. Ex-football star George Weah and Vice President Joseph Boakai were due to go ahead in the 7th November vote. In the studio with us is Echo Jones Mensah. He is a international media consultant, and he has worked in Liberia for over 30 years. He understands the politics that's ongoing in Liberia at the moment. Mr. Mensah, Jones Mensah, I believe will be appropriate. You're welcome.
Thank you, Gifty.
From the look of things, what do you? I mean, based on the background of violence, the background of politically affiliated sort of hatred and war in Liberia, how would you assess the situation at the moment?
Okay, thank you very much, and let me say good afternoon to your wonderful viewers. Liberia, I can say for now, is on the crossroad. If you check about these two personalities, which is the incumbent Joseph Boakai and George Weah. A little about Joseph Boakai is that he has been in the past government, that is before the war and thereafter, for 40 years, 7 government. And he has spent 12 years also in this new government. Now, on the side of George Weah, during the war, he was like everybody's father. He visited the various camps, see to it that they are all well. He gave them whatever they need. Even at a point, he has to finance the Lone Star, which is a national team, with his own personal money.
This is Mr. Boakai?
No, this is George Weah.
Oh, George Weah, okay.
So for his philanthropic nature, I can say the entire Liberia, especially the youth, rally behind him.
And he's quite popular, I mean,
very much,
worldwide.
Very much. Okay? Now, so with the crossroad I'm talking about, people have, there's two opinions on the floor or within the country. George, as much as he is a very good person, when you check his background in terms of education, is very low.
Okay.
And that is where people are not comfortable, especially the elite. But then, along the way, he has managed to be a senator in the House, which was last 2 years ago. For that reason, people see that at least with all the corruption nature of the country, this is a young man who is free at heart. I describe him, he is my manager.
I see.
Yeah, the first media house he established.
Okay, so he's been your manager before?
Yes, before.
Okay.
Okay, he took me even to Liberia.
I see.
So I manage his 2 radio stations and a television.
Okay.
And I always describe him as the soil of the land.
I see. That makes you biased, doesn't it?
No,
you know,
no. I also have a strong link with Boakai.
Okay.
Seriously. Okay, I'm just giving the fact.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you see that George, as I describe him, the soil of the land, he gives without complaining.
So he's got generosity on his side. He's got popularity on his side. He doesn't have education. And that's a problem with the elite. But usually the elite is a fraction of the number of people or of the percentage of people who are going to vote. Usually it is the masses, masses that get to vote.
So
if
for
that
the
is
masses, they have rallied behind George Weah.
Okay.
Now, when it comes on the other side, Joseph Boakai is 74 years now. So even if he happens to get the nod, he's going to go, and their government, their term of governance is 6 years.
Yes.
So if he happens to get the nod,
it's going to be 80.
It's going to be 80.
At the time is the
tenure. And even now, he's getting too weak to the point that even in ceremonies, you see him dozing off, which is another thing. People.
But that's not enough.
I'm trying to build something to come to that point.
Okay.
So that is where the confusion is. Okay. People even describe old car and a new car.
Okay, so that's the dynamics for those two people. Exactly. Let's look at the now there's a third person who seems to be making the
Walker
elections.
Bromskin.
Yes. What's going to happen? I mean, from your knowledge of Liberia, what it is so far, what it's looking at the moment, and Mr. Bromskin now taking the initiative to stop the election, for example. What what are we to expect, if you can make any predictions?
So that is the danger I'm talking about, the tension now. Now, Walker Bromskin, who is the presidential candidate for Liberty Party, has taken the issue to the court that there were some irregularities. International communities who were there have said that even though there was, but it wasn't, something minimal.
It was fairly okay.
Okay. Now, the sitting president have also put her voice on it, that yes, there was irregularities. And from all indication, she supports Georgia.
Okay.
And people are also saying that...
As against her own vice president.
Exactly.
I see.
And her own vice president, at a point, also was making some kind of ill statement that they have tied his hands. So with all this, people are saying that once Ellen is supporting Georgia, and the Liberty Party were not really behind the vice president. So somehow he went, or he's on the ticket, even on the ticket of UP, but it's like an independent candidate.
I see.
So they're promoting JNB, which is Joseph Nima Bwaka, rather than the Unity Party.
Okay.
So that is the tension in between now.
Okay. We'll have to wrap up this conversation quickly. What would be your, if you were to advise Liberians, both in Liberia and those in Ghana?
Already the ECOWAS leaders have been there as when to talk to almost all the candidates. And I'm saying that almost everybody is panicking. But we should hold on and see what happens if the court is going to make a decision. Right. But Liberians should be quiet and calm, because they have suffered a lot and they don't have to follow that past situation, which will rally or take the country also to another backwards.
Right. Sir, thank you very much for coming. We've been speaking to Echo Jones Mensah Sr. He's an international media consultant. He's worked in Liberia for over 30 years. He's got very strong links with both 13 years. There's 13 years, 13 years. He's got links as well with George Weah, who is standing in that election, as well as Mr. Boakai, who is the vice president for Madam Sirleaf Johnson.